I always do the HAL thing, the HAL 9000.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, Dave, but I can't do that. The fact is, it's still a machine. It's a really well-programmed machine, but it's got humans there that are telling it what to do in all levels. And that's what's so amazing.
Welcome back to the ROCC Pod, produced for the Royal Oak, Michigan Chamber of Commerce. I am John Gay from JAG Podcast Productions. My co-host Lisa Bibby from Century 21 Northland is on assignment today. I am flying solo, but very excited for today's podcast. Christine Chubenko from CodeBaby is here. Welcome, Christine.
Hello, John. So nice to be here.
So we're going to talk AI today. We did a fantastic presentation recently at the Chamber that I was able to attend, so appreciate the way you broke it down. We're going to dive into some of that today. And I'll say Slava Ukraine because I know you wear your Ukrainian heritage very proudly.
I do. Slava Ukraina.
Excellent. And it was also great to see you recently at the Royal Oak music event, too, downtown as well.
Oh, it's a wonderful event. So glad to see you there as well.
Thank you for the beer. I got the next round.
My pleasure.
So before we break into the AI specifically, let me ask you a little bit about CodeBaby. Give me the background on what CodeBaby is.
CodeBaby, they created a platform on which emotionally intelligent avatars operate.
Okay.
And these emotionally intelligent avatars, they're your assistants. Now, if you remember Clippy, the paperclip, and yeah.
Those of a certain age like us. Yep. Okay.
Yeah, and everybody who used it said, gosh, I hate this thing. Well, it's way, way better than Clippy. And it's emotionally intelligent because these avatars are styled to smile and laugh and behave the way that you want them to behave in your place. Remember, they're operating in your stead. So CodeBaby created a platform that allows users to actually control their avatar. We can also jump in and manage them as well. But it's really be your assistant. I mean, truly your assistant. Answer questions that you answer each and every day, all day long. You know, in some ways, vet the people who will be your potential clients. So that's it in a nutshell.
I love that because as a small business owner, as many of us are in the chamber, there's only so many hours in the day. And there's always that internal conflict of what do I do versus what do I delegate? And the fact that you can delegate this as opposed to paying, an assistant X amount of dollars per hour. And especially if it's the same questions over and over again, I get, how long should my podcast be? How do I make money on my podcast? If I had something there to answer those questions in a chat form or automatedly, it would save me hours in the day and that I could be spending more on more revenue-based activities.
You have complete control over these avatars. Keep in mind, this is data. This is your custom data, not shared with the rest of the world. This is in your special little home, and you are always at liberty to curate that information, update that information, remove the information. There's embeddings. So it really is working on your behalf 24/7. And as things change for you, it can also change for your new, most trusted assistant, your avatar.
Without breaking, client confidentiality here, can you give me an example of a type of business that this has worked for?
In retail,
Mm-hmm.
Okay, what are the questions you normally answer? You answer questions like, how long are you open? Do you carry such and such? Do you have kid sizes from da? Just the general stuff that you could be out there doing something else, maybe tending to somebody who's in your physical brick and mortar. This sits on a website. And therefore, someone can ask all of those questions because you'll have loaded it with that information through a platform that's actually very easy to use. I mean, this is stuff that you really have control over. And there's your person that shows up all the time. When you have people who are doing that kind of work for you, usually they're not that reliable and you're still paying them. Well, you don't have to do the hourly wage thing with your avatar. But another example, and this would be for in medical practices. So
Okay.
we have dentists and doctors who have their own custom little practices. Those questions, and this is really near and dear to my heart, older individuals are afraid to ask doctors questions.
Yes.
They're afraid because, well, they're so important and I don't want to bother them, but this is your health. So you can talk to, and this would be like, we also work with holograms. In a hologram form, if you wish, talk to a doctor that is in hologram form. It is the caricature of the doctor. And you can ask all the questions, a cardiologist, and say, well, you just diagnosed me with COPD. What does that mean to me if I have a pulmonary issue and a cardiovascular issue? Ask those questions. These can be fully answered because it's coming from not only what the doctor supplied, but also what the large language model is supplying. So it's a complete and full, and you can deviate and say, by the way, do I have to worry about a podiatrist too? Now, that has nothing to do with COPD or a heart condition. This same avatar can say, no, that's really not an issue right here. But if you want more information about a podiatrist, I can give it to you.
Right.
That's what I mean.
And these avatars and holograms, they don't take sick days. Their cars don't break
Never.
down on their way into the office. So
No.
there's certainly appeal there. Okay, you mentioned large language models, and anybody who's played with ChatGPT, probably the most common one, has seen how you can kind of do this sort of thing and ask it information, ask it follow-up questions. I always find myself saying please to ChatGPT. I have to remind myself it's not a person. I don't have to say please. I don't have to be polite, but I do.
I say thank you. So
Yeah.
I can't help it.
Tell me how you first got involved with AI and conversational technology, because this stuff just fascinates me.
Well, you know what? It fascinates me as well. So my entire adult career, I've always been in computer science. And after I got my bachelor's degree, I just knew that in this line of work, you have to stay current. So I chose to get my master's degree. And of the different disciplines I could get, I chose artificial intelligence. And in particular, I was focused on digital imaging, optical character recognition. And so therefore, I got my degree in 1997, in artificial intelligence.
I feel like a few things have changed since then.
Oh, yeah. A lot of things have changed. But do you know the algorithms, some of the basic formulas on which the current systems you are interacting with now, those have not changed.
So the foundation is the same.
It's not changed because we're still using k-nearest neighbor, various statistical methods for predicting answers, etc. The concepts are actually the same, but now there's way more patterns and way more formulas that are being used. So that was my initial interest. And then why did I choose AI? Because of all the different disciplines in my master's curriculum, it always fascinated me. Space fascinates me. The unknown fascinates me because once you get to know it, then you can really work with it, which is really what I'm trying to do here. It's very unknown to so many people, and I can really put a cover over it to help you get more comfortable because it's not going away. So that, and as soon as I had gotten even before I finished my master's degree, I was already working in AI. I was working at Unisys and I was working in biometrics. We were working with 2D barcodes, scanning, like they were doing facial recognition as well, but I was already doing that stuff. So it's always been something that's been a passion of mine.
It's funny you say facial recognition. I flew to Boston this past weekend, and I love going to Metro and getting on Delta and not having to pull out my boarding pass, just hand them my license, and they scan me and off to go. You must have had an aha moment with AI where you're like, okay, this is really what I love about it. This is what I want to do.
You know, it might be for me more of a control thing. And yes, it was an aha moment. One of the very first things you learn when you go into artificial intelligence as a study is pattern recognition. And that's just something I've always been really, really good at.
Mm-hmm.
And in that pattern recognition, when you realize as a human, so John, I could see you walking down the street and, once I've gotten to know you, I would know your gait.
Yes.
I would know from far away your outline. I would just know and he kind of dresses that way. So all that stuff where I would perceive you as, I think that's John Gay down the street. The millions and millions and millions of lines of code to get a machine to do that is mind-numbing.
Yeah.
Yet, we have these machines and these formulas and these algorithms that exist today that are doing things that get us to actually anthropomorphize these machines, thinking they're sentient, et cetera, because the code is so vast and so intricate and so amazing. You just can't help but ask, how do it know? And as far as the conversation portion, communication has always, always been my gig. I love language. I love communicating. I have a very international family.
Yep.
I speak several different languages. And, side note, I'm a percussionist. And drumming was a form of communication in Central and West Africa, I believe.
Yep.
So the two together, the intelligence, the control, the conversation, how could I not love it?
The term AI is everywhere. And I think you've done a pretty good job of explaining what it does. Are there everyday examples of AI that people are using without even realizing it?
Yeah, every day.
Just give me a couple.
Okay. Well, how about Siri, Alexa? I have Blue Link on my car. I have a Hyundai, so I have Blue Link. Your Apple CarPlay, I think it's called.
I have that in my Jeep, yep.
OnStar. Well, social media. The algorithms that serve up, you go into Instagram and you like several things that are like, and they're similar. And those algorithms are saying, well, we know what she likes or we know what he likes. And there you have it. That's AI doing some processing and assessing, etc. In Netflix.
Oh, yeah. You may also like.
Yeah.
People also watched. Yep.
Mm-hmm. Your refrigerators. Samsung has refrigerators that have AI built into it now that says, you know what? You're running low on milk.
So crazy.
I know. So part of us says, do I want my refrigerator doing that? Well, I'll ask you this. Do you want to still be using a washboard to wash your clothes? Heck yeah, you want a refrigerator to tell you. You're saving energy too because you're not opening the door, right?
Oh, wow. There you go.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. The question that I'm sure our listeners have, there's concern about AI taking jobs. How do you see AI working with people instead of replacing them?
That's an excellent, excellent question. And that's the one that I believe I'm going to be answering over and over and over again. That fear is very real. I cannot say that I blame them. Let's be honest, I was a web developer for 25 years, and you knew me probably as, what webs we weave and doing that. Well, I kind of moved into web because there wasn't a whole lot of AI going on. But then 4 or 5 years ago, I was able to get back into it and now back out of web. Well, it's a good thing that I had AI as a background because web development, that's being passed over to AI because it can actually do it more efficiently. But that's okay because that allows me to do what I really want to do. As far as jobs that are tedious, that people don't want to do, that's what's going to be taken over. And before people say, but wait, think about why. So after COVID, you know how many restaurants, at least like in the Royal Oak area, right? How many had to close down or scale back so far and actually have never reopened. Now they've just remained carry out. One of the main reasons would be they couldn't find the employees to take care of some things.
Sure.
One of the ways you can use AI, as I mentioned, having, in a doctor's office, have it answer questions. AI can take orders. You can have a laptop, a tablet, some mechanism, or a hologram, and you can have it take your order. It can answer your questions. Are there any onions in this? I have an onion allergy. All the stuff that you can't find people to do, questions that you can't find them to answer. That's the stuff no one's willing to do now. So the tedious stuff. But do you think a nurse can be taken over? No.
No, of course.
Do you think even a teacher, like a preschool teacher?
Yeah.
They're tactile. They need to be with the child. You cannot send a robot or a 2D avatar sitting on a screen to teach a 3-year-old or a 4-year-old. A doctor, you can have a doctor answer basic questions, but a doctor, they're in surgery.
For sure.
So if you think about it, what jobs could you not even see a robot doing? Those would be the ones that are going to be safe.
It's funny you mentioned the restaurant analogy because I am a Zennial. I was born in 1980. I'm borderline Gen X millennial, although I tend to lean more on the millennial side of things. My wife makes fun of me for it. But when I'm putting an order in for dinner, I would much rather do it online than pick up the phone and call somebody. I would rather just do it online and not have to deal with it.
And when you do it online, are you not getting what you want? You say you can see.
Yeah, somebody doesn't mishear what I said. Like, it's funny you say onions. I have a sensitivity to onions, so I never get onions. But somebody might mishear that on the phone.
Yes.
I put it clear as day and thing. So, Christine, early in the conversation, you mentioned emotional intelligence. What is the secret to designing AI that feels emotionally intelligent, not necessarily robotic?
Well, you have to have the capability. That's one thing. And a platform, an existing platform that allows you to do some things. I'd say one of the more important things would be prompt engineering.
Okay.
So, you mentioned that you'll be asking ChatGPT, which, by the way, LLM stands for large language model. That could be ChatGPT, that could be Gemini, that could be Claude, that could be Perplexity.ai. There's a number of them out there, and they all have their little specialties.
Sure.
But we'll just use ChatGPT since that seems to be so popular, and they really kind of broke that wide open and paved the way for others. But prompt engineering, when you are asking ChatGPT these questions, how you ask the question makes all the difference.
Mm-hmm.
So one component is to get the quality of answer that you want out of that LLM or out of ChatGPT is the manner in which you ask the question. And one thing that I have learned over this time is not only do you ask the question how you, let me think, using resumes. Let's use a resume.
Sure.
Here's my resume, ChatGPT. Could you take a look at it? How can I improve it? Okay. And it does do that for you. It does a really good job, actually. Then you ask it, hey, ChatGPT, now that I've improved it, what is really bad about it? Now, most people aren't going to ask it that way. So you want to ask it from different angles. And then you take those angles and you compile them till they fit your liking. Keep in mind, ChatGPT or any LLM is going to keep going, keep going, keep going. That's kind of the point. It is a machine. So it's you, the human, that says, okay, now we're done. Now that's the response part. Then with respect to emotionally intelligent, you can also tell ChatGPT, I want you to use this tone.
Yes.
I want you to use humor or wit in all of these responses. I want you to operate as a total authority as a cardiovascular surgeon. What type of person do you want answering these questions? So if you're talking about a retailer and you say, what kind of person do I want to hire? What are the qualities you look for in that person? You take that, you translate that into telling a prompt, saying to ChatGPT, this is how I want you to respond to people who come and talk to you.
I think my two key takeaways here are telling ChatGPT to act as expert in X field. And something that I've also seen is if you're not sure how to get something out of ChatGPT, you can ask ChatGPT.
Yes.
And you can say, hey, I'm trying to get to XYZ. What information do you need from me to get there? And sometimes ChatGPT can walk you through how to use ChatGPT.
Well, that's the difference. This is why, back in the day, one of the original systems, they're called decision trees.
Yes.
And ChatGPT, there's some semblance of a decision tree in there, but a decision tree was always if this, then this, if not this, then this, and That doesn't work so well when you want to ask a question and say, help me figure out how to talk to you.
Yeah.
An LLM, on the other hand, has all these formulas that work within, and I mean, believe me, I can go in depth, but we don't want to. Those formulas, though, allow you to do exactly that, allow you to say, I want to get stuff out of you. I don't know how to do it. How do I do it? That's what's a foreign concept to a lot of people. And they shy away from it because it's a machine. How can it tell me try it? Just try it. And after you've done it a couple of times, it builds your trust and you start to see how valuable it is. It helps you think in a way that's more productive for you.
And I think the best thing about ChatGPT or any kind of AI or LLM is it can eliminate some tedious stuff, and then you've got to have sort of a human checking the results at the end. So as two perfect examples, so you sent me some notes and some ideas of an outline for this podcast and how the discussion you wanted to have today. I can tell by the format that you probably ran this through ChatGPT or something similar, and it gave us an outline, and I've got, full disclosure, I've got the Word doc up in front of me right now, and I'm working through it, but I'm adjusting on the fly and modifying or skipping or adding questions. And then once I edit this podcast down, I'll get the transcript I will feed the transcript into ChatGPT. ChatGPT will then write the show notes in my voice, in my style, and the way I have trained it to write the show notes. And if you look at any of the last 100 or so episodes of the ROCC Pod, most or the last probably 50 of them, the notes are written by ChatGPT originally, but then I go in and make some tweaks to make it sound more in my voice. So,
right, because it's not you, but it can do a pretty good job of saving you the time of trying to tweak the bulk of that. And to be honest, I had to, because for I'd say the breadth and depth of information that I have, I could go off track so quick I cannot even tell you. So I wanted to ensure that whatever I delivered would really be of interest to the general population, because that's really the point,
What is one myth about AI that you would like to bust once and for all, Christine?
Okay, and this is just me talking, and this is a biggie for me. This idea that AI is sentient.
Meaning like it's capable of its own...
Right, because that's actually considered artificial general intelligence, or AGI. That is where it just is logical reasons on its own. It doesn't really need your input because I can do this myself kind of thing.
This is the cliche, the robots are taking over.
Yeah, I say it all the time. I always say the robot overlords are not taking over yet. Or I always do the HAL thing, the HAL 9000.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, Dave, but I can't do that. The fact is, it's still a machine. It's a really well-programmed machine, but it's got humans there that are telling it what to do in all levels. And that's what's so amazing about it, because the way it comes across is, oh my God, I can just walk away, I can run my household. In some ways, yeah, I can. Nest, that's what Nest is, right? But it is not this thing with a soul. It is not this thing that is going to ultimately be the demise of humans. At least that's not what I see. Now, I'm sure there's somebody listening who's going to say, oh, that's not true. Okay, I'm going to say we have differing opinions, but I feel pretty strongly it's still a machine. It's just done really well. And that's why, by the way, look at the responses you get from ChatGPT. It's always saying, was this okay? Is this good? Because it's learning. It's always learning. And there's ethical communities associated with all these LLMs, always keeping an eye open for, nefarious uses and ne'er-do-wells, etc. But why? Because it's still a machine. And I will strongly, strongly beat that drum because it just comes across as it's not. And that's where a lot of fear comes from. It's like, pretty soon, we're not going to be needed. Yeah, you are. Someone's got to run this thing.
I'm almost afraid to go down this rabbit hole, but you used a word that got my attention in that answer. You used the word yet. You said the robots have not taken over yet. Do you have any concerns long-term about this?
So for myself, I firmly believe it can never, ever be considered sentient. And it could never take over the world, because as a developer, just as a programmer, I don't know anybody who builds a program that there's no back door that you can't get in. So like HAL 9000, not true.
Yeah.
Not true. Everyone builds stuff so they can at least go through the back door in case something goes wrong, because something probably will go wrong. But I am not exactly a prognosticator.
Okay.
And therefore, never say never. I've learned that pretty well. So I would say, is anything possible? Yes, we can all agree anything is possible. Is it probable or even in any way sort of likely? No. But I say yet also just to get a rise out of people say, wait, you mean what?
No, you definitely got my attention there, but I appreciate the explanation.
Yeah.
Okay, before we start to wrap up, let me ask you, if someone wants to start learning about AI, obviously you do a lot of great work with CodeBaby, but where should someone start if they're new to all this and they're like, okay, this is, pervasive everywhere. Let me get involved. Where do I start? What's one thing someone can do now to get started learning about AI?
I love this question, John. I'm so glad you asked this, because the answer is in the solution. The answer is go to, I don't care, Claude, Gemini, ChatGPT, I don't care, any one of these. Sign up for an account. This is free. They have paid accounts as well, but a free account. And then first thing you say is, I am new to this AI thing. I have no idea where to start. Will you help me? That's it. That's all you do. And it will continually adjust. So it can give you an answer and you'd say, oh, slow down. I need it way slower. I don't understand half these words. And then it will say, oh, I'm so sorry. Okay, let's slow it down. Tell me what part you want to know more about. That's how you get started. Of course, you can read things, but I get the sense that if you can control even that, that's what's going to give you some confidence in how it really can benefit you.
I love that. Christine, at the end of each podcast, we like to ask a fishbowl question of the day where we ask a totally random question. So let me reach into my fishbowl here and pull one out. What is your favorite smell?
Wow. There are so many, actually. Smell is so important. You know that.
One of the strongest senses tied to memory, yep.
Yes, is tied to memory. I can't just pick one, but I'll tell you what. I really love the smell of lilacs, lily of the valley, and vanilla.
Okay.
There you go.
I was thinking the smell of grilling at a tailgate at a football game, so we kind of went in opposite directions there. But
we did, didn't we?
Christine, as I mentioned earlier, you did a fantastic presentation recently at the Royal Oak Chamber. If somebody wants to come talk to you, learn more about what you do, CodeBaby, what are the best ways to reach out and find you?
I like email just because I can see what's what. So you can reach me at CCHUBENKO, that's C. Chubenko, at CodeBaby.com. Or just call the chamber. The chamber knows me.
Fantastic. Well, for my co-host who's not here today, Lisa Bibby, she's with Century 21 Northland. You can find her online at soldbylisab.com. And I am John Gay, newly rebranded from Jag and Detroit Podcast to Jag Podcast Productions. You can find me at jagpodcastproductions.com. If you have any questions about podcasting, starting a podcast, or improving your podcast, that's where to find me. Also on social media at Jag Podcast Productions. We want to thank you for listening to this episode of the ROCC Pod. It is produced for the Royal Oak, Michigan Chamber of Commerce. For more information about the chamber events, you can go to royaloakchamber.com. Thanks, Christine.
Thank you so much, John.